The common ground, I think, has to do with that Navajo concept of the five-fingered people. That we are all the same species. We have a shared a shared past and a shared future, and we need to care for each other. Everyone can feel the sun on their face and feel blessed by that sun. Everyone can look at the moon at night and think about the mysteries of life. Everyone can stand on the earth and have a feeling of groundedness and place. And that is what I think of when I think of the word common ground.
The Navajo Nation was established July 1st, 1868. It is a semi-autonomous territory covering 4 states and over 27,000 square miles. It is slightly larger than West Virginia. There are over 260,000 people a part of the Navajo Nation. We had heard many statistics about the problems going on in the Navajo Nation, but I had no idea what we would see or experience. I had many unanswered questions. Before heading out, we wanted to explore any stereotypes or preconceived ideas that we may have had. So we interviewed some of our teammates.
To see how different our cultures are.
A big group of kids who are our age who don't necessarily connect with their culture, I guess.
I've heard that there's a high instance of alcohol abuse. They don't get to eat a lot of healthy food.
Addiction and drug abuse, gambling problems maybe. What's the word?
Packaged food.
Poverty and poverty on the reservation. I really don't know.
The Navajo Nation hasn't come as far as a lot of those countries that have had a lot less to start with.
And I know that a lot of people think that they're like behind us just because they're disadvantaged or something like that.
To try to find a solution to all the cultural conflict that we have.
And not just our small group, but the whole Rowland Hall community, and hopefully that can help bring just general awareness.
I want to gain an understanding and understand their culture better and have a common ground with the Navajo people.
Our first experience in the Navajo Nation was butchering sheep. We butchered sheep twice, first with a local family, the Eddies, and a second time with Whitehorse High School.
It's more personal. When you're in the city, if you want meat, you go to the store and buy a packaged piece of meat identical to any other. In the city, you aren't exposed to livestock, let alone killing it. The Navajo form a relationship with the animal they're butchering. The Navajo choose the sheep, bring it home, promise to use all of its body responsibly, then proceed to kill and butcher the animal. Not a single part of the sheep is wasted. There's a sense of respect and appreciation for the animal that is lacked when the killing is done through mass production. Sheep are deeply rooted in the Navajo culture and way of life. Without sheep, they wouldn't be able to survive. The right to herd sheep has been taken away from them on a number of instances, so the right to raise and butcher sheep is deeply cherished and respected.
So you pray to it and take it back, like where you kind of like do offering, so you would get more. And yeah. So all these kids are gonna eat you, enjoy you. Apartment. They have hallway, so they couldn't like resist anymore. She always got after us and told us, this is how we're raised, this is how we're taught, this is what we're supposed to be doing. If you do this, if you learn how to do this, you won't go hungry.
Yeah, she's very woman.
Do you like to that one on the table?
Just push it. No, not really, but.
Donde?
Did I hold it open with you? Yeah.
We were overwhelmed by the hospitality we received from the Eddies. Without having met us, the Eddies welcomed us into their home and even invited us to sweat lodge with them. The sweat lodge ceremony is an ancient tradition practiced in many Native American tribes. It serves the purpose of cleansing one's body and mind, allowing those who participate to wrestle with mental and emotional barriers, connect to a higher being, or achieve a higher state of consciousness. During this process, I felt a deep connection to everyone else in the lodge, helping me realize the importance of traditions like these in the Navajo culture. Using hot rocks to heat a small lodge, we sat in there for 4 sessions. Our Navajo hosts played music, and at times many of us struggled with the overwhelming heat and lack of air in the lodge. After we were done, we all emerged feeling cleansed and new.
Like, honestly, I will never forget like sweat lodging with the Eddie men, because that was in and of itself like mental and physical experience that I've never felt before.
We had a popular Navajo singer come and talk to us about her singing and her experiences in the Navajo Nation.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Talibeh Begay. My clan is, my mom is the Red Bottom people. My dads are the Mexican clan people. My paternal grandparents are the Sleep by the Rock people. My maternal grandparents are the Red Running into the Water people. I'm 23 years old. I'm also a mother. My daughter's 5 years old. And I'm very grateful for my little one. And I'm also a Navajo culture teacher for a school in Shiprock, which is called Dream the Net Chartered School. Make them dance. So let's all come out here and make a circle out here. So we're going to do the round dance part of it.
That's not how we do it. That's called Wednesday.
Most startling as we started to get into the schools and work with all the children and the adults in the community is that rather than seeing a group of people who were struggling, we only saw people thriving. Such a rich culture was very clearly a part of the everyday life of these people. The language, the music, the dance, the ritual, the religion, all intact and completely vital to the community that we were a part of.
The majority of our time in the Navajo Nation was spent at a high school in Montezuma Creek called White Horse High.
Although a lot of the kids at White Horse, they do speak their language and they do know some of the native songs, there's also kids out there who are trying to reject that culture and aspects of that. But that also stands in really stark comparison to the kids out there who are trying to continue that culture through song and through dance and through other traditional Navajo practices.
Okay, so this outfit that I'm wearing is a traditional outfit that us Navajos usually wear. This is a turquoise jewelry that mostly all of us wear a lot, and this type of necklace is called a squash blossom. And this is there's some that are really rare and like it goes from generation to generation. But this one just got made for me recently, and
cool. So you guys pass down jewelry?
Yeah, we pass down jewelry a lot to the younger generation.
We spent our time at Whitehorse gardening, doing rock art, building a hogan, and shearing sheep.
When we committed to work with Montezuma Creek Elementary and Whitehorse High School, the teachers suggested we help with a placemaking initiative they had long hoped to establish as a school community. Both schools are part of the San Juan School District and are funded federally. And yet, they have been overlooked at times and allocated less support than other schools in their district not on reservation land. In addition, the Navajo Nation has limited access to fresh produce and has been forced through larger systematic initiatives outside their control to consume primarily packaged and processed foods. This is a divergence from their traditional ways of self-dependence, gardening, livestock, etc., and is a drastic shift from their once very healthy culture.
What about, I'm going to call the next plant. You can call the tree.
Will you help me move this picnic table?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, anyone need help? No?
Yeah, look, there's a rake. You can help rake.
For example, not being satisfied with the math class. I tried to...
Can I put it all the way around?
Ooh, this thing got skills.
Okay, I'll tighten.
There's 2 practices at home.
Hairstylist. First and then I watch it. Look at the fish.
I got next.
I think that's cover obviously while you're sharing. I think it's a part of the sheep.
Tell Landon to sharpen that one.
Landon, this one?
The arts are often misunderstood, but at their core, they are a platform for human-to-human connection. Moving with someone creates a deeper physical relationship than words can. For the kids at Montezuma Creek Elementary who don't have full access to arts programming, creating a space where we can all come together and get excited about the arts in an educational setting is vital, because drumming, singing, and the fine arts are already a sacred part of their culture. As a dancer who is inspired by tribal drumming, it felt really exciting to take my interpretation back to these kids and see what they had to offer in response. We didn't come in to teach them Navajo drumming. We urbanized the strand already present in their culture. This performance is a representation of how their traditions have permeated ours, despite alienation.
So what does that mean about what's happening to your body every time the beat drops? Like there's something that happens, right? You have a heartbeat every day? Yeah, you've got that rhythm inside you. You also then have this other rhythm coming at you, and I want you guys to start playing with the music, right? Because I hear you like, oh yeah, I hear the music. Yeah? But I really want you to like find that rhythm, like when that beat hits, so does your foot, yeah? Give me 2! Give me 3! Can you guys do it by yourselves? Who's gonna do the give me one? Who wants to call them?
learned that something as simple as building a garden box and painting it with little kids really allowed me to make connections with them and allowed me to realize that they really aren't as different as I thought they were coming in.
Through these garden boxes, we hope to create a platform for building not only a community, but also a sense of place, which will inevitably create a connection over time to their school, to the fresh food they are able to grow, to the traditions they can begin to preserve through gardening, and to each other.
Our last day at the elementary school, we did a field day with basketball, banner making, bubbles, magic, dodgeball, jump rope, art projects, relay races, musical chairs, and drumming. Afterwards, we went back to Whitehorse High to participate in a lip sync.
We missed the freeze! Woo! Let's try it again, ready?
It was cool to see that we listened to the same music, and it was fun to see Rowland Hall and Whitehorse be on stage performing at the same time.
Our responsibility as people who have a voice in the community is not so much to help and to change the way things are down here, but to provide a space in which the people down here have a voice and provide a forum in which they can speak about their culture and the tension and what they see as the problem to allow people to become more informed.
The Navajo people and Native people in America generally are so invisible, and it's a very intentional invisible. It's systematic.
I came down here and I wanted a problem to fix. I wanted there to be an issue, and then I would come, and then there wouldn't be an issue. I guess we all want to be Superman.
And then cultural suppression, linguistic suppression, religious suppression, using the weapons of Christianity, English, and U.S. politics. And that is something that we need to sit with, look at directly, and find a better way of approaching.
I think it should be Navajo Nation's job to take care of itself. However, with the federal relationships, with all the trusts, with all the treaties that have become a part of their lives historically, I think it's a bigger picture, dependent on federal funds, dependent on state funds to get things going and make things happen.
Just be more aware of these people who live very close to us. And yet, I as an Anglo know so little.
But I think there is a value when you're at this age in high school where you're still formulating what you think about the world.
Like, I just saw them in a very alienated way. Like, I didn't know what to expect, and I just the only thing I thought of was okay, different. And so when I went down and started working with the kids, they're just like me, and I loved it, and it was great to see that they're just like me.
I came down here with the only thing I knew about the Navajo Nation was statistics. So we have this percentage alcoholism, we have this percentage of unemployment, and when I first came down here, I'm a pragmatist, so the first thing I thought was, okay, how do we make those numbers go down? I guess what I learned when I came here was I'm not gonna make those numbers look better. And the only thing I can really do is learn about the issues, and you can't learn about the issues without understanding people, because a culture is more than their statistics.
We're not in a position right now to start solving problems when we just need to focus on moving towards making that connection, learning about it first.